Hello, I'm Jess Wood from the University of Aberdeen. In this short presentation, I'm going to be providing a brief overview of the results for sections 2 and 3 of the Aire Sunnd Community Wellbeing Survey. This Wellbeing Survey was developed in partnership with members of the North Uist Historical Society and researchers from the Universities of Aberdeen, St Andrews and the Highlands and Islands. In section 2 of the Community Wellbeing Survey, we asked specifically questions relating to the future use of the Carinish School building, now owned by the North Uist Historical Society, and also activities that the North Uist Historical Society could potentially have put on. So in our first question, we asked about the use of the outdoor space at Carinish School. There were several options. There were 4 options presented, or statements, and respondents could select more than one of the statements or options. You can see here that the most popular option that was presented was the quiet sensory garden, with 58% of respondents selecting this. This was followed by children's area, volunteering to help maintain the garden, and your own growing plot in a polytunnel. A number of respondents also selected other and provided these details in a box provided. You can see here there's a table with a list of these other options. They include Heritage Centre Music Centre. A popular suggestion was a picnic area, meeting area, and a community polytunnel. Teas were also suggested, and another popular suggestion was wild area, native plants, activities for children. Another suggestion was a display crafting implements and tools area. And a final suggestion was a man's space, etc. for working at something or repairing an item. We're now moving on to questions relating to the indoor space. So we asked, once we have moved our object collection into open storage in the school, how would you enjoy using it? Again, a number of options were presented in the survey. And you can see here that the most popular option selected, again, where more than one response could be recorded, was browsing the photographic albums, where 80% of respondents selected this. This was followed by informal pop-up coffee mornings or tea time chats based around heritage and wellbeing themes, where 75% selected this. And from there, you can see the other items according to popularity. So we have regular talks about aspects of heritage, expressive arts, music, writing, drama or art inspired by North Uist heritage, sessions where you would be able to handle the objects and learn about their use, sessions on genealogy and support to conduct your own research, your own family history, volunteering to support or lead activities, or in the general maintenance of the building. Again, respondents were invited to provide other suggestions. So these included a small recording studio for music sound, film nights, films in some way related to life in North Uist and the Western Isles, art classes, self-sufficiency projects, and Gaelic-related activities. This next question was regarding more outdoor activities and CEUT's link with the heritage, the natural heritage, their environment around them. So again, a number of options were presented, and more than one response could be recorded per person. So you can see here, of the options presented, 70% selected guided heritage walks, and 60% selected local archaeology. Again, people were invited to provide other suggestions. Linking with the local archaeology organisation and having talks and walks to participate was suggested. Developing digital heritage natural environmental walks, beach cleans, making sure, and that was the other thing that came up as well, that There was not a suggestion as such, but 2 respondents suggested making sure that the events were open to all levels of ability, including those unable to walk far fast. There was a suggestion about working more with the area schools, and a suggestion about small tree plantations where once trees stood. For question 2.4, we invited respondents to suggest any other resources or activities that you'd like to see. Again, using the word count that would show the most frequent suggestions, you can see here that class genealogy proved quite popular as a suggestion, as was art, Kayleys, and cooking. In question 2.5, we were interested in how the internet and digital technologies could support with heritage and digital aspects. So you see here in the question we posed, the internet and digital technologies are likely to be an important part of our lives in the coming years. Please indicate which of the statements below you agree with. So in this graph, we present the responses for those that completed the the survey on paper. Again, more than one response could be selected from the options that were presented. And you can see here the most popular option was recording local place names, wells, hillocks and ruins before they disappear, with 90% selecting this. And we moved down to 71% who selected we should create digital record or of our heritage, and create archives of photographs, models, and video and audio. The other options that were presented and results of the findings are presented here as well. In question 2.6, we invited respondents to make any suggestions about how we use the internet apps or exhibits to promote and preserve our heritage. There weren't a lot of comments recorded here, but a few people talked about technology training, a few people talked about place names, a map project, linking with North Uist and Earth, creating a Croft app, but being mindful that some people don't have access to the internet. There was also a suggestion here about Ceilidh music. In section 3, we're going to look at personal well-being. Personal well-being was measured using the short Warwick-Edinburgh mental well-being scale. In this section, 7 statements relating to personal well-being were presented, and 5 response options were provided, ranging from none of the time to all of the time. Scoring was then calculated to determine overall well-being. Due to the small sample size we had 71 respondents who fully completed the 7 statements in this section. The overall median was used, and an overall score of well-being of 23.21 was calculated for the survey population. This is in line with the UK median score shown here on the right, which was also had a median well-being score of 23.21. To determine 15% of the general population can be expected to have a score of 27.4, which would denote high well-being. Equally, we would expect to find 15% of the general population to have a score of less than 19.6, which would determine low well-being. In our sample size, however, we found only 2.8% had high well-being using this cutoff, while 18.3% had low well-being. It is worth highlighting, however, that these numbers are based on a small sample. So in summary of the key findings for section 1 to 3 of the survey, there was a strong concern about the environment being voiced by the respondents of the survey, concern that North Uist was not being consulted or heard locally or nationally, the importance of community and life here was striking, concern relating to heritage culture and in particular Gaelic language decline was common, and this was particularly felt strongly for those who grew up in North Uist, but was also seen for speakers, learners and non-speakers of Gaelic. 71% of those who selected important to very important in relation to land and sea to their life also selected Gaelic as an important symbolic value in the community as a vehicle for transmitting our island culture and heritage. So this would suggest that further research that looks at the links between the environment and Gaelic would be of interest. Support for Gaelic heritage and wellbeing activities and events was strong. The local community appeared to be committed to developing the school, and support for Gaelic classes and activities that support natural and cultural heritage was high. The use of digital technologies for heritage and culture preservation and transmission was also widely supported. But there were also indications of individual support with digital technology being made. In subsequent video presentations, the other researchers from Aire Sunnd will look at the findings of this survey and also expand on sections 4 of the survey, which covered infrastructure and digital technology.